Hello and welcome to KLM Institute.
Today's news is intense, fast-moving, and extremely important for the future of the world. We are witnessing what many experts are now calling the potential start of World War III. With Israel and Iran exchanging deadly missile strikes, civilian lives being lost, and global powers choosing sides, tensions are escalating at an unprecedented pace. Let's break it down. Just days ago, 3 Israeli civilians were killed near Tel Aviv after Iran launched a missile strike. Israel responded swiftly and fiercely with a massive military operation called Operation Rising Lion. Over 200 Israeli fighter jets bombed more than 150 targets across Iran, including key military and nuclear facilities. Iran retaliated with more than 200 ballistic missiles and drone swarms, targeting Israeli cities, killing civilians and injuring over 170 people. But this conflict is no longer just about Israel and Iran, it's dragging in the entire world. What's even more alarming is Israel's continued bombing of Gaza, where over 54,000 innocent people have reportedly been killed since the conflict began, many of them children and women. Despite global outcries and humanitarian warnings, the international community appears unable, or unwilling, to stop the violence. The silence of major international bodies is raising serious concerns about justice, accountability, and basic human rights. And now, the war has escalated even further. Israel strikes Iranian state TV during live broadcast. In a shocking escalation, Israeli forces struck Iran's state TV headquarters during a live broadcast on Monday, plunging the studio into darkness, sending debris flying, and igniting much of the building in flames. It was a dramatic moment that played out live in front of millions. Iran's ambassador to the UN, Amir Saeed Iravani, called the airstrike a direct assault on press freedom, accusing Israel of being the foremost enemy of truth. According to Iranian officials, more than 220 civilians have been killed since Israel's offensive began, including at least 20 children, with over 1,000 injured. On the Israeli side, officials report at least 24 people killed by Iran's retaliatory strikes, and nearly 600 injured. The Committee to Protect Journalists condemned the bombing, calling it a violation of international norms. CPJ is appalled by Israel's bombing of Iran's state TV channel while live on air, said Sarah Kuda, CPJ's regional director for the Middle East and North Africa. The Israeli military claims the building was being used by the Iranian armed forces under the guise of civilian operations, hiding military infrastructure within. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu doubled down on the decision, declaring the TV station a propaganda arm of a totalitarian regime, not a legitimate media outlet. He added that the strikes have set back Iran's nuclear program by a very long time, and warned, more targets remain. When asked whether Israel plans to fight until the Iranian government collapses, Netanyahu clarified the primary objective is to dismantle Iran's nuclear capabilities, though he also stated the regime is very weak. A threat to global safety. Now, Israel's attacks on Iran's nuclear facilities have brought this war to a new and terrifying level. Under the Geneva Conventions, bombing nuclear sites is considered an act of war not just against the country itself, but also a grave threat to neighboring nations. The risk of radiation leaks, environmental disasters, and long-term health crises could spread across Pakistan, India, Turkey, Afghanistan, and the Gulf nations. This is no longer a regional war, it's a continental crisis. Iran has issued a stark warning. Any nation aiding Israel will be seen as a target. That includes U.S. military bases in the Gulf, naval assets in the Red Sea, and critical oil facilities. Iran's allies, Russia, China, Pakistan, North Korea, and potentially even India, are being pulled toward this rapidly expanding conflict. On the opposing side, the US, Germany, France, Italy, the UK, and Israel are preparing for extended military operations. The global domino effect. US President Donald Trump, who has returned to office in a stunning political comeback, is now taking a hardline stance. He's pulled American diplomats from Iraq, Bahrain, and Kuwait, and is threatening countries who don't side with the US or Israel with tariffs. Known as the tariff president, Trump is using his economic power to coerce global alignment. This is not a traditional war, it's a modern hybrid war. Cyber attacks, drone swarms, digital blackouts, and targeted assassinations are now standard weapons. Israel recently sent emergency alerts, even to phones that were switched off, just minutes before major bombings. In response, Iran's digital networks were severely disrupted, marking one of the largest cyber offensives in recent history. A global crisis in motion. Security analysts now warn that Russia may escalate its war on Ukraine. China might seize the moment to move on Taiwan. North Korea could lash out against the South. With the world's attention locked on the Middle East, authoritarian regimes may see an opening to act. Meanwhile, Europe is bracing for impact. The UK has deployed fighter jets and naval forces to the region. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has spoken to leaders in the US and Israel, urging de-escalation. But as missiles fly and civilians die, diplomacy is running out of time. Civilian devastation. In Tehran, an Israeli missile leveled a 14-story residential building, killing 60 people, including 29 children. In Iran's Bushehr province, the bombing of the South Pars gas facility has sparked massive fires. The Strait of Hormuz, a vital artery for global oil shipments, is now under threat. Oil prices surged 7% on Friday, and if the strait shuts down, the world economy could face a deep shock. There are now serious fears of a chemical, biological, or nuclear escalation. Netanyahu has warned that current operations are just the beginning. Iran has cut off all diplomatic talks with the US and vowed that Israel will face unforgettable consequences. As we speak, millions of lives are at risk, the global economy is teetering, and world powers are locking into battle positions. We are witnessing a moment in history, one that could shape the next decade, or perhaps determine the fate of the entire world. The need for peace has never been more urgent. But the window for diplomacy is shrinking fast. Every airstrike, every political ultimatum, brings us closer to the edge of global war. This is KLM Institute. Stay tuned, stay informed, and stay safe. Please like, share, and subscribe to receive real, clear, and factual updates on this rapidly developing situation. Thank you for watching.